Hello there, this is Richie Vitale, and this is a review of a really great app that would be a nice replacement for Photoshop for iMac users. And this is entitled Affinity Photo, and it's made for both the iMac and for the iPad. This is a picture I have that's in Hoboken near Frank Sinatra Drive in the second picture, and you could see that there's a lot of green color in here that I'd like to get rid of. Now this is fit to size, and this here, if you go up to the top of my window under view, you can see you have different choices here. 100%, which is actually larger than I need. 200. So what I'd like to do is zoom to fit. And it's easier to work in this manner on this picture right now. So you can see I have two files open. One is called Hoboken 1 and the other one is Hoboken 2. That makes life easy. So I'll go to photo 1 first and take some of this greenness out. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to adjustments, and if you hover over this circle here, you'll see it says adjustments, layer effects, live filters, mask layer. So this is what we're looking for, the circle that's shaded in half, adjustments. And we're going to go to color balance. Now you can see the Empire State Building right here. We're actually seem to be viewing east, and here's the green and magenta level, and we'll just decrease the green, and you see already it's looking much better. Now here you see we're working on the midtones, which is a good thing right now. What you could do is play with the different levels and see what you like. This could be done trial and error without anything specific in mind, just to get the best colors you'd like in your snapshot. I think I like a little more yellow in this as opposed to blue. Sometimes it's a matter of preference rather than science. Now let's look at the shadows, which would be the darker areas here. I'm going to leave that alone, put it back to 0. Now that I kind of like to darken the sky a little, especially on the upper left. Now we'll take a look at the difference between the original and the copy that I worked on. This is the original and the finished product, which is a vast improvement over the original. The other option is highlights, and that's the lighter areas, and I'm going to leave that as is. So I'm done with this picture, and I'll go to the picture which features myself a little out of focus. Maybe we could sharpen that up also. So as before, I'll start with the midtones. Really doesn't matter, you could start with shadows if you wish. And the main thing is I decreased the green in the picture so that the asphalt looks more normal here. And bring the blue up a little to accentuate my shirt. Now we'll look at the shadows. See, I like that. I'll darken the sky a little by taking off some green, adding magenta. So right now I'm liking the colors in here, and it looks a lot better. And if you want to view what it looked like previous to your adjustments, you could just uncheck this box. And you see that's a real improvement over the green color that was saturating the picture. Same thing for the whole book in one picture. That's the original. That's the corrections. Now this is pretty sharp as a picture, and this is slightly out of focus, so we'll see what we can do here. I think my first choice to sharpen this picture would be in filters. It looks like an hourglass here, live filters, and scroll down to clarity filter. You move the slider to the right. I'm not really liking it at 100%, so I'm going to roll back a little. And the picture itself is out of focus. There's only so much you can do, but I think that's a good compromise at 44.3 pixels. And again, you can see if you really like the change you made by turning the filter on and off with the check mark. This says clarity here. Definitely an improvement, and I want to not just do myself, but the whole picture itself. So I didn't mask anything or brush out any of the clarity. I kind of like it that way. Here's another filter you might try. It's called high pass filter. We're going to click on the background layer. That's what we're working on. If you're up here on what we just did on clarify, on clarity layer, you'll have no effect going to high pass. I'll show you. So you see nothing's going on here, so make sure you go back to your layer that the picture is on. In this case it's background layer. You see you just have a gray box here. Turn up your radius, and this is the area it's affecting. What you want to do is, instead of a normal here, you're going to choose what effect you want. I'm kind of liking pin light and hard light. Soft. Hard is a little clearer. Pin. I think I'll try hard light. Now you see optimal seems to be just about 41 pixels. If you go too high, it actually seems to blur the picture. Now you could double check and make sure that you like the effect. It does sharpen the picture, so we'll leave that. There's one other effect I'd like to try, and that is called Unsharp Mask Filter. So you can see if you turn up too high with radius, which affects fine or larger details, it'll get too grainy. So I think around 0.8, 0.9. and the factor is the strength. You see it's a little blurry there. I would say all the way up, and we could test whether it looks better or worse without a sharp mask. That's without. So you could certainly see a little more detail without, with. It was a little grainy, so I turned the radius down to 0.6. It's 6 of one or half dozen of the other. This is without the unsharp mask filter, and with. Without, with. So we'll leave it there, and I'll show you the effects all turned off. Unsharp mask, clarity, color adjustment. You could see there's quite a big difference there. There's plenty of effects here. Just for fun, we'll look at the twirl filter. Pretty wild. And now the ripple filter. Which will turn off. That's a little much. Let's try one more filter. Spherical. Pretty wild stuff, but I'm going to go back to a little more of the original. And not only are these filters useful, they can be fun. This is an awesome, strong program, and normally I learn just what I need to do for a specific job on a photo. So I'm taking it slow, and there's plenty of great videos to watch and learn from. So this is a picture I took as I was bike riding towards Canal Street, and it was by the Hudson River in a park. And the sky is kind of drab. It was a slightly dark day, and I'm going to try to make this sky a little bluer. What I'm going to use is the flood select tool. As I select the sky, as you go to the right, the tolerance increases. And if you see, if I continue to the right, it starts to select the ground at the bottom, the concrete. So I'm going to go to the left, and you'll see the tolerance sliding to 14, 13. Now just to check real quick, I'll push delete and you can see there's still some area here that I have to select. So I'm going to undo that by pushing Command Z. That's a little better. But you can still see there's some blue here that has to be selected. So we'll work on that. There we go. Now I don't care so much about the swings here. They're gonna turn color also. But later on I'll show you how to doctor up these umbrellas and turn them back to white or any other color you'd like. So if I push delete again, you'll see pretty much the sky has been selected even in these areas between the trees. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to adjustments, recolor. That looks pretty. That's a nice blue sky, and you could see the clouds there. Now I'm going to push Command D to deselect, and now you can see the umbrellas are the same color as the sky. We don't want that, so what we'll do is we'll put on a quick mask. That's up here. And I'm going to enlarge this by pushing Command plus. I've increased the size of the photo, zoomed in so I could see the umbrellas easier. Now I'm going to make sure that I have the correct tool selected. I'm going to use the color replacement brush tool. And you could see a preview of what's going on here. I'm going to decrease the brush size. Now we'll turn the mask off, and we'll put on an adjustment layer that we've used before, the recolor. And I'll just turn the saturation down to 0. Push Command O to get the picture to fit the screen. And Command D to deselect. And now you can see the umbrellas are now white again, which is really cool. Beautiful sky. And let's take a look at it, what it looked like originally. Pretty bland. A much better picture this way. Great improvement. Here's a nice picture from Manhattan Community Boathouse, and I'd like to get rid of this life jacket here. So what I'll go to is the in-painting brush tool. Amazing program. There are some apps on the iPhone that do something like this, but not quite as well. Stupendous. Let's look at one more picture. This is a flower bed. Again, as I was riding south on the bikeway by the Hudson. And I'd like to paint this sign out. I just want to see how good the in-painting tool does work and can it even achieve this. So I'm going to double check it and make sure I'm using the in-painting tool, because normally you're set to the healing brush tool. You go 1, 2, 3, 4 down. And you paint this area in. And just wait. That is something. Incredible. So for my rating, I'd like to say this is definitely a 5-star app. So great. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this review of Affinity Photo.